So now, ladies and gentlemen, coming up for you, our first panel session on AI and automation in HR, impact, adoption, and future outlook. And please help me welcome the honorable panel members for this fantastic panel session. First panel session of the day, looking to be a great session. Joining us first, Mr. Rajesh Jain, CHRO and President from Welspun Living. Can we have a big round of applause to Rajesh ji? Welcome to the stage, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, we have Mr. Lokesh Tanwar, Head of Business and Corporate HR from SMFG India Credit. A big round of applause to Lokesh ji. Lokesh ji, welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat, sir. Joining next in the panel, we have Ms. Deepika Kinger, Senior Vice President HR from DCB Bank. Joining next in the panel, we have Mr. Vaibhav Goel, Senior Vice President and Head of HR from Reliance Industries. A big round of applause to Vaibhav ji. Can we have a big round of applause and have Vaibhav ji in the panel? Welcome to the panel, Deepika ma'am. Welcome to the panel, Vaibhav ji. Joining next in the panel, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Asit Khuntia, Head of Talent Acquisition from Hindustan Petroleum Corporation. A big round of applause to Asit ji. Welcome to the panel, sir. Please have your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable moderator for this panel, Mr. Prakash Ramnath, Senior Vice President and Global Head Marketing and Alliances from Adrenalin.hr Systems. Prakash is already here. A big round of applause to Prakash ji.
Nice meeting you.
Welcome to the panel, sir. So Prakash sir, all over to you. First panel of the day, full house panel, great panel of experts, full house audience. I'm looking forward to a great session.
Thank you.
Captain of the ship, all over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me well. So excited to be part of this panel. Thanks Rahul for setting the stage on where AI it has to move from just another experiment to actually driving value. And I think we have an incredible representation of HR leaders here who are probably living it every day along with you guys and sort of driving value. So I'm so excited to see what we can hear from each one of them. First, my first question to the panel here is, if you look at an AI on a scale of an ad hoc pilot to a governed pilot to completely in production, on 5 different stages. So when we discussed, we said we'll probably look at these stages, right? So the first stage is, you have ad hoc pilots, which means you have your teams using AI tools. They're using a ChatGPT or Gemini, and they're driving some part of their tasks are probably augmented or automated by AI. The second stage is when you sort of move into a pilot stage, which means it is sort of recognized by the organization and you are having a clear objective. The third is it's governed, which means it's cross-functional. You have a clear business outcome driving it. Fourth, you are probably scaling up on AI. And fifth, it's probably rolled out, it's in production. I mean, it's already driving clear value for us. So I'm going to go with each one of you in terms of reflecting which stage of AI are you in today, and talk about one AI initiative. You can just be crisp about one initiative and talk about what you're doing, why you're doing it, what is the value it has delivered for your organization. Not any order, but I'll start with the gentleman on my left. Rajesh, why don't you start first?
Yeah, hi. So I think if you ask me enterprise-wise where we are, so I don't think we are anywhere enterprise-wise. But
quick intro about the organization from Welspun's perspective, and so that the audience can relate to it.
So my name is Rajesh Jain. So I come from Welspun. So Welspun is a conglomerate. So currently I am working with a business which is in textile, home textile to be precise. So we are majorly exporter to the whole world, largest towel manufacturer in the world, and maybe second largest in bed sheets. So that kind of a, so we have large manufacturing and supply chain and sales, retail, wholesale, B2B, all kinds of things are there. So having said that, so if you ask me enterprise-wise, are we on a very, very planned journey on AI? The answer is no. So, however, in bits and pieces, we have, in certain areas we are at the scaling up level, in certain areas we are pilot, and certain areas we are in the governance level.
Any one initiative?
So I would tell you that we have in the manufacturing itself. So although in HR we have covered a lot of ground, in manufacturing we have, as I said, we are largest towel manufacturers, and towels come in all sizes, from the hand towel, face towel to the beach towels. So and the production is, I mean, the quantum you can't even imagine. So it is not possible for us in factories to count those towels when we manufacture them. So they are at such a large speed and a quantum. So we have deployed AI, and not today, I think 4 or 5 years back, wherein we are able to count the towels, pack those towels, and do the stuff like entire, in the sustainability case, where we have to map which source of cotton was used in this particular towel. So all those things are mapped using AI, and it is working very well.
Awesome. That's a good example, right? That's a lot of grunt work involved in sort of counting
Yes.
doubles,
Yes.
which AI can help. If you can also, probably I'll request Deepika, from your perspective, where do you see it at DCB Bank?
I'm Deepika. I represent DCB Bank Limited. We've been a bank which has been around for over 80 years. We largely operate in the SME spaces, okay, with entrepreneurs who are our key business segment in that sense. So when we look at AI within the bank, I would say it's used in a governed manner, but not in all spaces. Let me be honest about that. To give you two quick examples, we have Infido as a part of getting structured insights within the bank, but the human decision still remains with the team, in that sense, in HR. When I look at it from the business perspective, today our contact center, call center, so when a customer calls in, there's a quick AI which actually represents the bank, understands the customer's need, has been heightened to be able to, prospect or give the right, product for that need. And if that product doesn't work for the customer, take in the requirement correctly also. So I think we're working both on the business front as well as the HR front to see that we are a more AI adaptive institution in that sense within the regulated environment that we operate. So that's the perspective from our front at this point in time. Thank you.
Thanks, Deepika.
Hi, good morning.
Lokesh.
So I present a Japanese financial group, which is SMFG India. We are an NBFC and have length and breadth of around 1,000 branches across and into multi-product positioning and distribution. Definitely we have a use case which is under the advanced stage of pilot, and as an organization, as an industry, we are also looking at transforming, building AI in couple of processes, especially the underwriting part, customer servicing, and the operations. It's quite human intensive workforce led processes which requires a lot of time and energy. And some under trials are already started up. But yes, I want to happily share that there is a use case which we have already brought in. We have signed up with one firm which has given us a solutioning around talent acquisition. So this particular space, we look at a couple of attributes. One, the time and efficiency part. So while implementing this and post facto, which I'm yet to evaluate, but we see a 50% reduction in the human efforts. Point one. Point two,
50% reduction in?
reduction in the human effort. The time,
Efforts it takes, okay.
time goes into the entire activity of a talent acquisition cycle, from the sourcing till you do initial screening, then you built up first level of interview, assessment, followed by at times second or a third round. So we eliminate sub couple of rounds.
Got it.
We look at, in fact, initially the piloting we are doing it on the leadership position, especially the team manager and onward, because that's where we see a maximum impact. So this is the tool which will give us, one, the assessment on the resume itself. Two, it will give us the skill assessment. Three, it will give us the overall domain assessment. And it's a more of a conversational AI. So how a real-time interview happens, it will happen exactly in the same manner. And while there will be a due depth check, so people cannot fudge the entire interview process, there will be proctoring. Okay. And then second is that once we look at the entire report, we analyze, we would have spent some 70 odd percent time into this activity otherwise, which could have been done in now precisely around not more than 1 hour, all the stages. Now the next stage, which we are still relying on human intervention, the final round, it happens through one-on-one, the interview, the way we go the traditional method. But we see a value add, and I'm very confident, we are very sure that we will like to bring it on the large scale hiring. On an average, we hire close to around 10,000 employees in a year, approximately. So this is one of the use case we have seen, and a few more use case I will definitely take up while during the discussion is concerned. Thank you.
Really appreciate that. Thanks, Lokesh.
Hi, very good morning. I am Asit and I represent a company called Hindustan Petroleum Corporation. So it's, I just want to tell you because it's a Government of India stakeholder company. I mean, and it's operate under Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So I am odd man out here. Nevertheless, I would like to tell about my company and where we stand in terms of adoption of digitization as well as AI. As I see this digitization and AI, the line is very, very blurred. And sometimes we understand AI is digitization and digitization is AI. Since I have been working in this company since last 2 decades, so it's a long-term career for me. When I joined this company, we were moving into ERP system, entire things were very, very manual, lot of paperwork. But since last 2 decades, we have moved to a very, very robust JDERP system, and subsequently we had adopted AIs. So if you'll ask me, Prakash, where we stand in terms of, as a company, in terms of adoption of AI, I would say in a scale of 1 to 5, I will admit that we are at a range of 2.753. And when I say about where is that 3 comes from, we operate at more than 350 locations all over India. For supply and distribution of fuel, petrol, diesel, and domestic LPG, non-domestic LPG, lubricants, etc. So in most of our operating locations, you will be surprised to know that a lot of robotics that has come in place, a lot of automations, it has come in place, OCRs, it has come in place. And AI-based tools which are using, a lot of supervisory AI tools which are using in terms of safety and operation. And when I talk about HR specifically, we have adopted 2 to 3 AI modules, I would say, and we are yet to catch up to exactly AI tool in terms of our entire HR processes. Yes. We are extensively using RPS in terms of processing of claims. We have around 10,000 plus employees all over India. So a lot of claims, monthly claims, allowances.
Huge volume there.
So these claims are being processed in RPS. And yes, we have something which has recently we have adopted is HRGPT. That's our internal lot of policies and manuals which are there. It is simplified in HRGPT and it has been answered to our users, to our employees. Yeah.
Awesome. HRGPT is interesting. Thanks. We'll probably come more on that, but I'll go to Vaibhav first. please share your perspectives.
Yeah, thanks, Prakash. Good morning, everyone. I am Vaibhav, and I am from Reliance Industries, heading HR for the upstream oil and gas division. I have had the wonderful opportunity of leading the group HR technology initiative from 2017 to 19, up to 20 beginning before COVID. And that time I was leading a team of about 100 plus who were technology people, data science team, and so on. Way back in 2019, we had implemented a group-wide learning platform which had a persona-based learning recommendation. But looking back, I would say that was not even AI. That was just data science. In context of today, when we are seeing AI, it's completely different from digitization, automation, RPA, and those sort of things, or simple models or algorithms based on data science. The key aspect of AI today is that if you provide the right context, it is a capability by itself. And to simply answer your question, what stage we are in, well, Reliance is a conglomerate. So we can't say that entire Reliance is in one stage. But we have multiple use cases at all the 5 stages. We have a couple of use cases which are at production level now.
Can you talk about one or two on that?
So this, for example, learning recommendation engine is working on a platform which is being used by almost 300,000 people. And the other use case, of course, my colleague, he talked about the recruitment thing.
Yeah.
When we talk recruitment at scale, the efficiencies are pretty evident. But what I'd like to touch upon is when you're doing very niche recruitment, niche skills, the problem statement flips by itself. Just to elaborate, there are some, we are into technology, manufacturing, we had a lot of niche kind of hiring as well. The problem statement there becomes that when we do a job posting, we get thousands of resumes. Out of 2,000 or 5,000 resumes, only 5 or 10 are relevant. Now, can you expect a human to sift through all the resumes and find that one? The answer is no. So we literally had a situation where some of our positions were simply not getting filled for like many months. And many times we were taking suboptimal decision because whatever comes first, we find there's a closest match, we were trying to close it. Using AI, we got surprised that out of 2,000 resumes, even if one is the right one, it comes to you like in a jiffy.
Today the issue is also probably all the 2,000 resumes are written by AI.
So the answer is yes, but in our domain, core technology related areas, it's difficult.
Okay.
So
yeah.
then it will be literally that somebody is putting up a blatant lie. Somebody's worked on a technology, not worked on technology, doesn't make any sense, right? But yeah, in a lot of roles, people can really write a lot of English, and you have to then do a lot of assessments. But for us, the challenge was we suddenly started closing positions which were not getting closed in 9 months, 10 months, in weeks.
Awesome.
My hiring managers just got shocked. They said, earlier we were getting like 1 resume a month, which was really good. Now you're giving me 1 resume every day. What are you doing? And this is what my biggest surprise has been, that we talk about AI versus human, but actually there is a lot of augmentation here. What humans cannot do, AI can do easily. And I think the real conversation has to be what AI cannot do, and human skills will become more valuable.
Absolutely.
I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Vaibhav. I think that's a good thought there. AI can give more time back to humans. I think that's very important for us to reflect. I'll probably come to Deepika. I'm going to go in random order right now. I think some of the observations were around talent acquisition and probably learning are, some use cases where AI has been tried. If you just park, I think talent acquisition, I agree, it's a lot of work. If you park talent acquisition aside, if you look at different HR processes that are there, what are some 1 or 2 processes where you think is a good candidate in HR for experimenting and trying an AI?
So couple of areas that I've managed over a period of time. So when I think of it, if you look at the whole ER process today, the employee relations process today, yeah, I mean, just the rigor that is there around the entire activity, when you receive, complaints, grievances, there's a lot of documentation that goes behind each of those processes. There's a lot of, conversations, etc., which happen. And again, those conversations have to be correctly documented and, from a case history perspective, maintained in the institution. I think a lot of this happens very manually still in many of the institutions, and when I speak to many of my peers, because of the rigor that is there behind it. It's not something that comes top of mind as an AI candidate, because there's other processes which involve a lot more rigor that my friend spoke about in the panel. Another area, in addition to employee relations, which I see, is your entire background check process.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the rigor of coordination with so many agencies, ensuring that if there are discrepancies, are they getting mapped correctly with the CV, with the history of the employee, and that entire process, if you see, it's extremely manual. So while the vendor sends you something in, there is a lot of checks and balances that still need to be done. And if anything is missed, it's like a big impact on the institution. So that's another process that I feel we can definitely look at as a candidate for AI. It's again, both these sit outside that realm.
Thanks for that. I'll probably come to Rajesh here. Your industry is slightly different, unlike a bank, more in the manufacturing, and I'm sure there are also enough candidates which are probably manually done today from a HR process perspective. If you want to reflect, hey, these are 2-3 areas where AI can really help, what would be those manual processes today?
So one of the most prominent one which I am personally very passionate about, and I'm trying to do that, still not been able to find the way, is as a company with 30,000 employees, maybe 25 countries and whatnot, the volume is so that we generate huge data in HR. Huge means huge data. And my plight is that we are not able to use the data, but whenever the data is there, we use obsolete tools like Excel to do a very, very shallow analytics. And so therefore our decision support system is very poor, right? So what I am trying to do is that there are plethora of this data. So AI should first of all be able to pick data from all kinds of sources in whatever form they are. Because earlier the limitation was you need to have data in a very, very specific form to be able to pick it up and then analyze. Tools were there.
So just a question there. So is it one tool or is it different tools for different processes? Where is the challenge coming from?
So the challenge is from the will part of it. It starts with the will of the organization that yes, this is something which is important.
We can do.
Yeah, we can do. So there is no technology challenge here. There is no tool challenge here. I spoke to a very young boy. He's just passed out and he is very passionate about AI, and he gave me a solution. Right?
Yes.
It is as simple as that. So AI has made things very simple. Even you don't need AI awareness or AI knowledge to actually explore what you want to do. People will come and help you. So to be able to collect data from all those sources and do those insights, more importantly, it should throw the correlations, predictions, and support the decision making system. I am sure the kind of decisions I am taking today, if I have that tool available, right, my decision will be very different.
And to implement a tool like that, do you partner with the IT? How is the HR IT relationship in this context when you want to move AI from within just your team and organization wide?
You see, it depends upon, first of all, it is very important. So you have to have the IT has to be your close partner. Uske bina to nahi hoga. But I've been a CIO for a year in one of the organizations. So my view is that if you don't have vision that this is what we want to do, and if you don't know bit of how the technology works, so it will be very difficult for you to even give your requirements or even talk about it. So a close collaboration is required, but at the same time the onus has to be on the functional head.
Functional head.
Yes. So they can provide tools, and there are companies where CIOs, if it doesn't matter whether you are a CIO or a CHRO or a CFO, it is the person who has the vision and who can drive it, right? So this is one. And secondly, obviously, I've heard a lot about recruitment. We have tried our hand for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Certain areas it works, certain areas doesn't work, but
Tell me about the areas where it doesn't work. I think that will be interesting for the audience.
So I tell you where it doesn't work. So when we deployed the bots to interview people, and then first is the CV parsing. CV parsing, as you rightly mentioned, कि JD भी AI बना रहा है, CV भी AI बना रहा है, keyword भी AI कर रहा है, तो वहाँ पे there is a problem. I see a lot of problem there. So वो ऐसे CV pick होते हैं जो pick हो ही जाएंगे, मतलब वो automatically pick हो जाएंगे. The second is when you deploy the bots for interviewing. So our initial experiment outcome says that people who speak good English get shortlisted, right? So as he said कि technical होगा तो उसमें नहीं होगा. So we also tried. I was in the infrastructure side of Welspun earlier, and there when we tried interviewing for civil engineers, so those questions were there, and then we were able to pick good candidates. But वो specific areas में चल जाता है, specific areas में नहीं चलता. So perhaps more trainings of the bots is required and stuff like that. The advantage is that, as he said earlier, we used to कितने ही CV आप explore कर लोगे, आपको 10 में से एक choose करना है, और maybe you will reject, or maybe that a lot of time will be taken. Today you can explore 1000 CVs in one go. As he said in a CFI, you will come to know कि 1000 में से at least 10 ये relevant है. So those are the areas where I think जहाँ पे अभी भी human intervention required है interviewing में, initial interviewing, screening में. So there I think maybe something more is required to be.
You have a point to add to that? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I like to add to that and totally agree. I think we also need to be clear that what is our expectation from AI? We cannot over expect, right? I'll give a very simple example. All of us have seen that if there are 100 managers who do interviews, even in similar areas, there are only some 20% managers who do really good interviews, right? And then we came up with processes that, okay, how to train managers to do good behavioral interviews and things like that. Now, can we expect AI to really be a good interviewer? No, the answer is no. So I think there's a stage where in some of these processes, we have to build our AI system where human is in the loop continuously. And over a period of time, maybe it will pick it up. And then we may see that, okay, our effort is going down. But today what we are doing is we are trying to just put AI and expecting a human equivalent output. That's not going to happen. Even on the CV side, yes, if AI is available to us, AI is also available to candidates, right? It's democratized. And so the problem statement now shifts like beyond general English, do we have really good clarity in terms of what skills and critical experiences that we need? I'm sure my fellow...
Give me an example of a question that you would ask from your context, where you will actually get that ingenuity of the person rather than the CV hype.
I'll give you an example from HR that the audience can relate, right? So typically, if let's say you are hiring a recruiter, there are very standard questions. Okay, how do you handle the onboarding of a candidate? It's a general question. A general question will evince a general answer. Now, if you put a situational question, okay, if a candidate says that he's going to drop out, what are the strategies you're going to deploy to try to retain? Now that becomes a situational question. 3 different candidates cannot say the similar answer. Everybody will come with a little bit of unique answer. Now the question is, can AI really evaluate the uniqueness element in it? Today the answer is no. But what I'm trying to say here is, if you're expecting that, okay, let's just hand it over to AI to do it, it's not going to happen like that. We have to go deeper. So if we want out of 100 managers, 20 managers are doing good interviews, why are they doing good interviews? We have to go a little deeper, and then we have to tweak the way we define our JDs, the way we defining our skills and critical experiences, and we have to go to more situational interview questions, so that the opportunity for candidates to give similar answers goes down and the uniqueness element starts coming out.
Awesome. So you cannot remove human judgment. I think that's what your point is. I have a lot of wisdom here and a lot of questions here, but I also want you guys to have an opportunity. So I can probably take 1 or 2 questions from the audience before we sort of get back to the panel discussions. Anybody having questions here that anybody want to ask? Yeah. I can give you this mic. Can we get the mic? Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very interesting point you made, Vaibhav. I mean, the quality of approach of adopting AI has an element of what is unique to that particular function, and what is obvious gets done. My question is, and since we actually have a variety of people in the panel here, I mean, we have someone from retail, somebody from banking, somebody from petrochemical, and so on. How much do you see the adoption of AI in HR consistent across industries, and how much do you see this getting specific to the segment or the industry? And there is a context going back to the point, Vaibhav, that you just made. Yeah, that's my question. To all the panelists, anyone could answer. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think the question is there an industry-specific influence on adoption of HR? You want to?
I think it's the organization specific, not industry.
Organization, okay.
Not only organization, it is actually person specific. So I see there is no hurdles.
You spoke about the leadership will, for example.
It is all that. I mean, I would say 100%. There is no challenge in adoption. But in certain areas we see वो planning का एक tool हमने बनाया वो adopt नहीं हो रहा है, right? So it's the, you know, when you keep the bypasses alive, nobody will take the toll road. Yeah, toll road वही तभी लोग लेंगे अगर bypass नहीं होगा.
Good
I
analogy.
think this is a very good question in terms of if we'll see the adoption of AI. In industry, what happens, the industries are different. So at operating levels, the AI adoption for different industries are different. But when we see HR, yes, I see HR, the talent life cycle remains same irrespective of industry. So it starts from your recruitment, the onboarding engagements, compoundment, then finally the talent life cycle remains the same. So if you'll ask me AI adoption in HR, I would say for me, there will be one solution can be provided to all industries, irrespective of in which space they are operating.
Just want to add, and what especially Vaibhav have shared around, that we cannot let the entire processes managed by AI. There has to be human intervention. There has to be some sort of a control, guardrails and mechanism till we further evolve. I mean, I don't know, it'll take 5 years, 10 years down the line. So I think some of the processes where I can also reflect back, we deliberated internally. One problem statement I'm starting with, the early attrition, which I'm sure most of the retail industry and bank and maybe even including the manufacturing will echo. So the journey is like very important for the first 6 months of an employee to being incubated in the system, being adopted in the system and familiarized with the ecosystem around it. So there is a journey where we have adopted a structured intervention, that we connect with an employee on a structured basis after 7th day of joining, 30, then 60, then 90, and then so on journey. Realized that yes, there is a lot of time which goes into it, but it's a very meaningful exercise. So then we deliberated, can we have a sandwich approach? The answer was yes. Some part definitely an employee should understand the ecosystem. For that, we would want our own HR colleagues to interface in the initial journey. But there are definitely stages where we want to pick up the touch points, the lead indicators, where we may not require every time to call up. So we tried a sandwich approach wherein some interventions are connected in person, collected the data, moved to the next stage, collected the data, and then try and resolve there and then itself. So that doesn't become a lag indicator and become the reason for the attrition. So for that purpose, we thought, yes, there are guardrails, we are connecting, there is technology, AI adoption, leveraging the efficiencies, and then finally able to provide the solution. And we have just launched it, and I think we were evolving. So once we see the entire full cycle for a year and so, I'm sure it's going to be quite meaningful exercise, which has a tangible results vis-a-vis the team members getting into every single call. So I think, yes, we have to be cognizant of the fact that, yes, what are we using and where we want to give full control, or whether we want to still have a approach of a guardrails.
So just to answer your question, so as an industry, when I see it in banking, the Global FinTech Fest kind of defined it. I mean, where you had the fintechs and the banks which came forward with their best AI tools. The whole piece was also led by RBI, which had its own sandbox, platform set right there within the banks, the fintechs, and other companies. So if you ask me, as an industry, it's definitely progressive towards AI. As the industry is progressive, what is good is it all starts with what can we do first within our own setups. How do we make the environment more through simulation, where people can try and it's okay to fail. Very often we are afraid to talk about failures, right, in that sense. And when we see the successes, to celebrate the successes also. But if you ask me, it's got to be a step-by-step approach, what we've also adopted in HR at the bank. In that sense, there will be some things which will be more adaptive, but the judgments cannot be left to AI alone, like all my friends have discussed on this stage. Unless the model learns how to make those judgments with time and with as many simulations as possible, or if I just look at my friends, the number of interviews they've taken. So you do it in a BI manner, you're looking at what the person has last been able to do, right? You're not going with hypothetical answers right there. So I think that approach is going to be more balanced, and that's what we are doing in the bank too.
Thanks, Deepika.
Just
Vaibhav,
yeah,
go ahead.
I totally agree with Deepika. Answer to your question is, yes, there's a significant difference in adoption of AI by sectors. And apart from the, I would say, technology or shared services kind of sector, the way I'm saying banking and fintech adopting AI is quite ahead than most other sectors.
On that note, I'm going to slightly take a detour and probably address the elephant in the room. The AI versus jobs conundrum, right? And I'll probably set a context here. So and this pervades across the organization, and I think as stewards of talent, there is some sense of probably reflecting for you guys to do. So I'm just curious in terms of, is there some sort of a skill inventory that you're building? Is there some sense of looking at which roles, processes you need to look at, a short term, long term, and more important part, how you're internally messaging this to the organization, and what's happening there from that perspective. So Vaibhav, go ahead.
Okay, thanks for putting me in the spotlight.
You are always on, so.
I think there's a bit of a nuance, okay, which industry and sector we belong to, how AI is impacting.
Okay.
And but I'm going to give a generic answer, like, okay, what our view is to some extent. The moment you start seeing AI as a capability, the talent equation changes. Traditionally, we have been looking at how to map skills of an individual to a particular job. Now, in this equation, you have AI capabilities and skills. There's a lot of conversation, okay, what AI is going to do, But I think there's now a good amount of information and research started coming out that what things AI cannot do, one, at the moment at least. Second is what skills of humans which are underutilized today and will become highly valued in the context of AI. And that is like you're expanding the skill sets itself, right? The third thing is that definitely now we are looking at some skill sets and even jobs which will come up which do not exist as of now. And they might become extremely important because if AI goes a little out of hand or starts making a mistake, all those mistakes will be at scale. So I think we have to really look at all the three things that, okay, what AI brings as skills. Of course, what AI does, humans may not be able to compete very well. There are very specific skill sets that AI is not good at. And those human skills will become more valuable. I can almost see that some of the roles in HR are going to have 20-80 flip. What they are doing 20% today, they will end up doing 80% of the time. In some ways, that has been the expectation of HR also.
Yeah,
HR got actually overwhelmed by digital systems and processes and looking at the screen rather than dealing with the people. But the third part, which is I must bring on the table, is there are definitely new skill sets and roles which are going to pick up which do not exist today within HR itself.
Asit, you have a point of view there?
Your question was about the skill set which you need to adopt for your organization.
Is there skill sets where you think AI can play a role, for example, in your organization, or mostly the jobs are fine? I don't think in my organization a lot of jobs will go to AI. What's your perspective there?
Yes, AI is no more going to be an option. I think in each and every skill set which you can say. So we have to catch up with learning things about AI. For example, I'll just reverse the question in terms of what I was thinking when you asked me. At HPCL, most of our employees are at a age of average age, I will take it, is around 38 years. But leadership team is of 50 to 60 years. So those who are sitting on board. So as a company, we have engaged IIT Mumbai, some students to reverse mentor all our leadership teams.
Nice.
And starting from my CXO to CHRO to everyone, and below L1 and L2, now everyone is getting trained and how to use this AI technology. When I come about what are the kind of skills, I would say each and every skills in terms of whatever area we are operating, AI is a very, very vital role to play. Yes, there is no way to go if you are not catching up with AI, and if you are not that kind of digital mindset, I think we are going to be outdated soon.
Thanks for sharing that. Lokesh, I'm going to come to you. You have a point? Okay, please go ahead.
So, इस पॉइंट पे कि AI कहाँ है कहाँ नहीं है, BMC ने एक बहुत अच्छा शेर लिखा है कि इधर भी खुदा है उधर भी खुदा है, वहाँ भी खुदा है यहाँ भी खुदा है, जहाँ खुदा नहीं है वहाँ कल खुदेगा.
So nice.
So कहने की बात है कि AI is everywhere. Today, I mean, we see a lot of places. जहाँ AI नहीं है वहाँ भी आ जाएगा. So AI is something which nobody knows today कि क्या होने वाला है इसमें. So AI is going to come. Technical answer is कि AI job खाएगा. लेकिन the more human answer is कि अगर 10 job AI खाएगा तो 100 और generate भी करेगा. So वो 100 कौन सी generate करेगा? We all need to watch out. If any one of us think कि हमें पता है कौन सी job खाएगा कौन सी नहीं खाएगा, I think we are fooling ourselves and others also. So we, depending upon which field we are in, we need to be at a constant watch out के कहाँ पे मुझे अपनी skill set develop करनी है. There are certain skill set as we the panel also said, जो human है, जहाँ पे आपको negotiation करनी है, आज की डेट में ये समझ आता है. जहाँ पे इंटरव्यू में आपको nuances को देख के कोई सिलेक्शन करनी है, आपको एग्जिट इंटरव्यू करके कोई ऐसी चीज़ समझनी है जो एआई नहीं समझ पा. सो कुछ ऐसी एम्पैथी, इस टाइप की चीज़ें हैं जो अभी हमें ऐसा लग रहा है, लेकिन पता नहीं वहाँ कब खुदेगा.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to add one point, whatever.
Sure, Asit, yeah.
Said. See, like Vaibhav has said, if the mistake which will be committed by AI, it will be at scale, because we all are using it extensively right now.
So who owns the cost of the mistake?
Yeah, it's
still human,
a
right?
very ethical issue. Finally the AI coding, who writes it? It's a human being who writes the codings, right? And there are biases, right? The coder has its own biases. So imagine the cascading effect of that bias and how that AI is being used. So yes, to give you one small example of how it was not fitting the bill in terms of when I and my team, we have been working in resume parsing, right? So we get thousands and thousands of applications for our experienced professionals. And I told that let's have this resume parsing. So I do not want to cite the name of the vendor or the company, but it's a big company. It's a very big company, those who are providing that solution. And when tried to sync in with our own solution, own system, surprisingly, that was AI could able to read the English, and AI, whatever AI was trained, that was not sufficient, and it was not fitting my requirements. Never mind, in last 1 year, I tried to find out a right AI tool only for resume parsing, and I could not able to get any kind of tool who is giving me 100% result, whichever I want. I think we are yet to find that. But definitely I could be able to say one thing, that AI is something which if you adopt, it is going to, number one, it is going to be making you more efficient. If you want to be very productive in your ways, save time and make things simpler, then definitely AI can be used.
We should separately talk. Adrenalin can help you.
Yeah,
on the tool. But coming back to Lokesh, you spoke about going through the process of actually implementing a recruitment tool with proctoring capabilities, etc. So for the benefit of the audience, how, and we are there, a lot of other vendors are also there, and today it's a good opportunity for you to actually go and discover what solutions are out there. How do you go about the process of choosing the right solution, right vendor? What is the process that you follow in your organization? How do you do any sense of baselining or benchmarking? This is where we are, this is what we want to achieve. If you can just sort of reflect on that, Lokesh.
Sure. So in the journey of identifying the right partner, I think there are a couple of stages involved. One is definitely the credibility of that partner, which is well tested before we implement anything. So we definitely have our own set of data, set of employees, performing, non-performing, mediocres. So try and implement some sort of a test pilot for them, okay? And see, without revealing that, who has been a top performer, who has been a mid performer at our end. And we can always
doing a pilot across
pilot for a couple of partners put together, same set of employees on a similar strata of performance and the vintage can be looked at, and then see the results. I'm sure no tool can give 100%, but whichever is the closest to, so that we don't make mistake in ignoring the right talent for the organization. So we picked up basically the same, I would say, rationale, and then navigated it entire across the organization. The problems are many, too many I would say. It's just not so easy. You have to actually partner with the CIO, you have to partner with the various functions which are involving the tech part of the organization, the CISO part, I would say the information security, and being a governed organization, a lot of data related acts are also been coming. The DPDP Act has already been there in the country, right? We are just to see the consequences in case we are not compliant. So navigating it across the last mile is definitely a problem statement. But yes, with the right answers, with the right rationales and the approaches, we can actually navigate the entire clearance of the entire new recommendations. One more use case, I will not take much time. Without giving you the right exact numbers, we as an organization do some business. 19,000 employees are there, and then there is a 50-60 people team, which we call as a digital arm. They do 50% of the business of the entire organization versus 50% of the business being booked by the traditional teams without AI. Okay, so now there is a use case we would want to adopt so that the processes of this digital team can be further enhanced, because if you don't do, competition will do. The time matters. The moment someone needs a funding, and if you don't process it on time, we may lose the right customers. So there is furthermore need not only in HR, but across the organization. I'm sure it will correlate in some form, in some processes at your end as well. So I'm sure ignoring definitely will make no sense, and but the right approach will definitely help us.
Super awesome. On that note, I want to just take questions from the audience before I go back. Any other questions for the panel here? I see a hand raised there. Can we have Mike?
Hi, good morning everyone. I am Darshika from L&T. So we spoke in length about a lot of processes, mostly towards recruitment and onboarding. I guess that's also because it's quite common across industries. You will go through these processes, sourcing and screening and interviews. But when it comes to employee engagement or retention, I think it's very customizable. Every organization has its own culture. So your employee engagement interventions will be different. So if you can throw some light on what sort of AI, ma'am actually mentioned about Infido, probably if you can throw some light on that, are you able to gather some insights from AI on employee engagement, and has it helped you for talent retention?
Thank you for that question. Deepika ji, if you would.
Yeah, so what Infido has done is it surfaces sentiments, right? I mean, that's the primary role of Infido. Through the sentiments, it helps us to understand from a conversation level what do we need to do, whether it's the manager or depending on the nature of query which has surfaced in that sentiment, right? If you ask me, it helps us to strengthen the engagement within the institution, because it throws the blips in the right area depending on how you're rolling out Infido also, right? At what periodicity is Infido reaching out to an employee? So it helps us to strengthen that engagement gap if it is existing. Also, it helps us to take in any red flags, if you ask me in that sense, okay? Early warning signals. So that we are able to address those kind of queries. From a formal engagement model, as you were thinking within the institution, where you're doing multi-activities to reach out to employees, we've not really seen AI do very differently or come up with a, kind of an augmentation over there, if you really ask me. Honestly, if you ask me as an institution, we've also not really thought about employee engagement within the AI zone, okay? While you can get to the needs or the interests of an employee, but how can they be proactively reached out through that, through an AI medium? We've not thought. ERGs have been a more common mechanism over there from an engagement perspective, but it's a good thought that you've given for us to also augment, if you honestly ask, on this front. Yeah.
Thanks, you. Thank you so much, Deepika ma'am. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful panel here. First panel of the day, full house audience, and I think a wonderful session we had for the last 50 minutes. Now, honorable panel members, I would request you to kindly be on stage, and I would like to call on stage Dr. Santosh Kumar Raut, Group Head HR from Sorigen. Santoshji, if you could kindly come on stage to do the honors of felicitating our panel experts here. We will start first with Mr. Rajesh Jain from Welspun Living. Can we have the certificate? A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rajesh Jain from Welspun Living for his valuable contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Lokesh Tanwar from SMFG India Credit. big round of applause to Lokesh ji for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Ms. Deepika Kinger from DCB Bank. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Ms. Deepika Kinger from DCB Bank for her valuable contribution in the panel. Moving next to Mr. Vaibhav Goel from Reliance Industries. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Vaibhav ji for his valuable contribution in the panel session. Moving next to Mr. Asit Khuntia from Hindustan Petroleum Corporation. A big round of applause to Asit ji for his valuable contribution in the panel. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable panel moderator, Mr. Prakash Ramnath from Adrenalin Systems. A big round of applause to Prakash ji for not just wonderfully moderating the session, but also for his valuable insights. Thank you to the honorable panel members. Can I ask you to come forward for a group photograph? And Dr. Santosh, if you could also join them. Big round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. That was our first panel on AI and automation in HR, impact, adoption, and future outlook. And what a wonderful 50 minutes we had with these eminent experts here. Thank you very much to each and every panel member.